In this video, we'll look at Python lists. So the heading here is data structures. So a data structure is just a collection of things. Inside Python, they do it in a number of different ways. The one that we'll concentrate on and play with is a list, but there are a few other ones available here. This was taken from W3 Schools. So there are 4 different types. The one we'll play with is list, which is a collection of things, and you can have duplicates in it. You can have a tuple, which is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable. You can have a set, which is a collection which is unordered and unchangeable. And you can also have a dictionary, which is a collection which is ordered and changeable. So the one we play with and we will use is a list. Okay, so what is a list? So a list is like a variable in the sense that it stores values. The difference is a list can be split up into different sections, so you can store a lot more things under one single name. So a list is known as a data structure really because it can do that. It can store multiple values. The thing about Python lists is, as well, is that we can add to the list, we can remove from the list, we can hold different variable types in the list. We can play about with it basically as much as we want. So in this example here, we've got empty list equals. Now that's actually 2 square brackets. It doesn't look like it, but trust me, it is. It's 2 square brackets. Okay, and that's an empty list. We have got mixed list. So that has got a string, an integer, a string, a float, an integer, and a string inside it. Okay, and they're all separated by commas. You can see. Then we've got number list. So inside this number list, we have got 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 10. So it's just to demonstrate that we can actually have duplicate values inside the list. And again, we've got the square brackets. And you've also got bool list. So that could store Boolean variables. So much like a variable, normally we would give the list a name that indicates what's actually been stored inside it. Okay, it just makes it easier to understand if you're trying to maintain the code and for other people to look at it. So here's an example of a temp list. So my list name is temp. So I'm setting up a variable called temp. I have got locations within it. I've got 7 of them. So Python, if you remember, most programming languages start counting from 0. So temp 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are all the locations that I can store things in. So in temp 0, I've got 15. Temp 1 has 17 inside it. Temp 2 has 22. Temp 3 has 19. Temp 4 has 16. Temp 5, 18, and temp 6 has got 20 inside it. Now, the thing that's useful is that this could be temperatures for the 7 days of a week. Not in Scotland, of course, because they're too high, but it could be the temperatures for the 7 days of a week, and it keeps them all together. So instead of having to create multiple different variables, we just create one and we carve it up into 7 sections. Okay, so this is an example of setting up and accessing an array. So again, I start with this all the time. I start with my name, the date, and what's going on here. So I have got a name list, and I've got my square brackets. So I've got Hera, comma, Augusta, comma, Caesar, comma, Hubert, comma, and then 4588. If I want to print out the whole list, I would just use the words print names list because that's what I've called it. And what you'll see is over to the right hand side here, I've got my list being printed out. And then what I can also do is I can print out set things from the list. I can print out position 0. So names list 0 would print out here because that's the first one on the list. And we always start counting from 0. The next one is names list 2. So it would be position 2. So we've got 0, 1, 2. So it would print out Caesar there. Okay, so you can access the full list and print it out, or you can print out single things from it. Okay, we can also change a value on the list. Excuse me. So in this example, I've got the same data. So I'm starting out with my name, the date, and what's going on here. And I've got a name list again. So I've got Hera, Augusta, Caesar, Hubert, 4588. And I've got print names list, and that's the first thing that's getting shown here. And then I've got names list 0 equals hello. So I'm overwriting whatever has been put there. So I've got hello, Augusta, Caesar, Hubert, 4588 being printed out. So you can change a value in the list just by using the name of the list, the position that you want to change, and the new value. The next one, which is useful, is appending. You might want to add something on to the end of the list. So again, it's the same example that I'm using throughout. So I start out with my name, the date, what's going on here, and my list. So names list, has got Hera, Augusta, Caesar, Hubert, 4588. And the first thing that I'm doing is I'm printing out the names list. So you can see I've got it up the top here, the first line. Then I'm printing out position 0. So position 0 is Hera. Then position 2. Position 2 is the third one along because we start counting at 0, so it prints out Caesar. And then I've got the keyword input. So input gets the user to input a value. And it says, please enter a value of any type. So just type something. I typed me. And then I have names list dot append, and then in brackets new value. So what I'm saying is I'm saying use the names list. Dot append means stick it on at the end, and new value is the value to stick on at the end. So what we're doing is we're using a built-in function that goes with the list. So names list dot append new value, and then I'm printing out the names list. And you can see I have Hera, Augusta, Caesar, Hubert, 458 me at the end because that's what I typed in. And that's what I've asked Python to do, just add it on at the end. What you can also do is you can insert it at a set location. So you can either add it on at the end or insert it at a set location. If you insert it at a set location, it just shoves the other stuff down one, effectively. So it's the same example, name, date, what's happening. I have names list, Hera, Augusta, Caesar, Hubert, 4588. First thing I'm doing is printing it out, so I've got my list printed. Print out position 0, so position 0 is the first one, so that's Hera, that goes out. Position 2, so we've got 0, 1, 2, writes out Caesar, that's what's happening. And then we're asking, please enter a new value, and I've got new value coming in here. So I have typed in moi, and then I have names list dot insert. So insert is a function of a list. So we can insert into the list, and I'm saying insert at position 2 and insert the new value that has been added. So that will write out the names list. So if we look at what's happened here, and we count from 0, 1, 2, at position 2, sure enough, what I've typed in, moi, has been entered. And because we're inserting, we're not actually deleting or overwriting. We just push the other things down the list, so the list becomes a little bigger. Okay. Another thing that could be quite useful is if you're putting things in a list and adding to it and removing from it, sometimes getting the length of a list can be useful, because then you can actually figure out how long the list is. Okay, so here we have got the same example again. So I've got my names list here at Augusta Caesar Hubert 4588, and I'm printing it out, which is fine here. And then I have got print len for length, and then in brackets names list. So it's printing out 7. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's correct. And then I've got new value. Please enter any value. And then I'm using append. So remember, append sticks on at the end. So nameslist.append new value will stick on whatever has been typed in here. So it says, please enter a value of any type. I've put in 789. It's putting 789 on at the end of the list, there. And then I'm getting the length of the list. So length of the list is 8 because I've added one. So this is just basic list manipulation. So what to do is give each of these a little try and see how you get on. If you're having problems, ask me in class. Once you've done this, if you can try the exercises on Canvas.